Saturday, so that means it's time for Mansfield and Mates, the time where I just get my own time on Mansfield today to kick back and think about people that I've met, cross paths with in a nice way, and who've made an influence or a change in our country, in our world, and in communities. And one of those is a rugby player who has done a huge amount for his community and is a very successful entrepreneur as well. I'm talking about Kobus Wiesse. Kobus, nice to speak to you again. How are you doing?
Jerry, always nice chatting, my mate. Yeah, we're fighting the battle, and tomorrow's another day, but it's great to chat to you.
Let's just go through a few things here. This absolute obsession with rugby, how did that come about?
A nice choice of words. I wouldn't say obsessed with rugby.
Yes, there was a time where I think you were eating, sleeping, and doing all other things to do with rugby, to be honest.
But rugby, I think it tickled my fancy from a young age, and I grew up in Namibia in the desert, and I loved watching or listening on the radio with Springboks playing, for instance, the All Blacks at godforsaken hours of the morning, and I was playing for an under-11 Northwest Cape invitational side in Uppington when the All Blacks played Northwest Cape there, and then I saw the likes of the Brian Williams, Sid Going, Grant Batty, Brian Lahore, all these great legends, and they made such an impression that I wanted to play the game. So, and I was very happy that I made that choice.
It was a choice that set you on a bit of a roller coaster of a ride. Was it difficult, Kobus, to get out of that roller coaster?
Well, not really. I think when sport becomes part of your life, and more so a professional part of your life, becomes your job. But you very well know that, like any other job, what you put in is what you get out of it. So lots of hard work, lots of sacrifice, years and years of sacrifice where other people carry on with their normal lives and jobs. You train 6-7 hours a day at least. You go on long tours away from home. And so forth on weekends when other oaks have a braai and a cold one, you travel or play or both. So, but so's life. I think sport's an incredible tool to teach any person, and more specific youngsters, about life, the ups and downs and the sacrifices you have to make, and discipline and passion and all those nice things.
Kobus, how did you then get into the coffee side of things?
When I was studying in Joburg as a student, I got opportunity to go and play in France and in Italy and see the rest of the world. And I loved it, and I had time on my hands, being a loner there, walked around and spent time drinking coffee in coffee shops and cafes, and it tickled my fancy. And also, I love cooking at home, so I've always wanted to get involved in the food trade. I just didn't know when, how, and so forth. And when Belinda and myself met, we pursued this passion together to open our first coffee shop in our own business. Wanted to work for ourselves. So it's an interesting one, and you learn the hard way. You learn hitting the ground running, and thank God made less mistakes and did more things right at that stage.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where you either hit the wave or you don't, and you just happen to hit that wave, and the wave was going in the right direction as well.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors, and obviously, luck plays a way, and the blessings of the good Lord plays a massive part. And I think to be involved and partnering with the right people, and then what you put in. It's simple. You must you must be willing to learn and learn fast and hard. And that's what we did. We had no formal training. We paid every little cent we had for that first store, and they gave us the keys. And the next morning we opened up, and we didn't know where, what, how, and so forth. So it was chaos. As long as it's controlled, chaos is always good. But it's a great, school to learn the hard way. Roll up your sleeves, do everything yourself, from mopping the floors until up to serving the customers, roasting the coffee. All those kind of things plays a massive role. And anybody, I think, that's willing to do that, to learn from anybody, and we're still learning. You're never a perfect operator, but as long as you're willing to interact with customers and you give good service and quality of product and so forth, I think you're on the right track.
Okay, family, Kobus. Obviously, an important part to you. Where are they, and what are they up to?
Well, we although we live outside Paarl, I travel up and down to Joburg on a weekly basis. Our head office is still in Heidelberg, and with SuperSport, the television work. Leroux's studying. He's a third year at Stellenbosch doing a marketing degree, and Demony has just finished schools. He's taking a bit of a gap year. Next year probably will go and study either here at Stellenbosch or she's thinking maybe overseas. And in the meantime, she's heavy into horse riding. Which is another story. It's a beautiful sport, but like they say, Jerry, when you sleep, that horse is eating. But so it's got.
Yeah. Okay, all happy on that side. All happy on the business side. How many stores have you still got, Kobus?
We've got about 60 in the group, it's been a tough 2.5 years, and I hate the word COVID. I hope I don't have to say it anymore, because a lot of people unfortunately use the word COVID these days as an excuse for being late or not picking up or not performing. But I think the whole world wants to put it behind us, but it's unfortunately it has hurt the economy, not only in our country but in the world immensely. And it will take us quite a while, I think, to recover. But still, there's still massive potential in this country for growth. And I think everybody's sort of, starting to rebuild again. And unfortunately, a lot of people lost businesses and jobs and stuff. And hopefully we can recover from that as soon as possible. But there's still a lot of potential. People love coffee. Good coffee is growing in the world immensely. People are getting more and more knowledgeable about good quality coffee around the world, and it's always been a way to connect a great cup of coffee.
Yeah, speaking of connections, do you still connect with your old rugby connections?
Yeah, but, I mean, all of them very well, and we're a special group. I think one thing about sport, and not particularly rugby, but I think, and it seems to be the more, I must be careful now, the more violent type of sports, the more physical sports like rugby, the guys seem to connect for life. And not only the guys you play with. I mean, I've got friends, thank God, around the world, and some of my best friends are the ones I played against, not with. So it's an unforgiving sport, but it teaches you unbelievable lessons and makes friends for life around the world because of the sacrifice and the bleeding together and so forth. So we connect often. They have a bit of a reunion coming up with the All Black game at Ellis Park in August, where I think most of the guys will be. So and we have our normal little get together. So it will always be a special group of guys that were very blessed to have known each other and played with each other.
Kobus, we're going to have to leave it. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but a little insight into Kobus Wiesse and where he is and what he's up to right now. Lovely to speak to you again, and we must get together for a cup of coffee.
Thanks, my buddy. Always great to chat. You look after yourself.
Cheers. Kobus Wiesse on Mansfield Today. If you did like the show, press the subscribe button, and we'll catch you next week once again.